Hello everyone, Kaoz here, and welcome to another old school RuneScape video. And again, the title is not an exaggeration. I am fairly certain I had a little mental breakdown or two because of old school RuneScape. And if you remember my I quit my job to play Leagues 3 video, that is all about following your dreams and your passion. This is going to be the polar opposite of it, and I'm basically going to tell you my experience when everything fails, what to do when you find some obstacles along your way, and how to overcome your hurdles and how to adapt to every situation. This is going to be another rambly video. I hope you guys enjoyed telling you my whole experience with Leagues 3 content creation and what followed after. So I hope you have your favorite drink and your favorite snack near you. Go ahead and start grinding old school RuneScape, and let me tell you one of my most interesting stories that have come from this old school RuneScape content creation as of late. So, let's begin. Before we get into the important part of the video, I think it's necessary to give you guys just a little bit of background. As I referenced in my I quit my job to play Leagues 3 video, I'm basically going to give you a very quick summary of that 18-minute video in here. And if you want to listen to another one of my stories, make sure to go ahead and check out the link in the description to know the entire context. So, in that video, I basically mentioned the fact that when I was working my 9-to-5 full-time job, I decided to quit because I wanted to try old school RuneScape content creation full-time, and especially Leagues 3 progression videos. For those of you who are new to my channel or fairly recent, you might not know that I initially got back into old school RuneScape in around 2018 when I started watching progression type videos on YouTube. People I always reference are Mudkip, Devious, Alkan, and honestly, the fact that someone making videos, building an account from scratch all the way to endgame content was always fascinating to me. And I knew that at one point, after I started making videos myself and also playing old school RuneScape, I wanted to give that a try at some point. This actually got, I would say, catapulted when I started playing RuneScape, I started making videos, and I saw people like also Mudkip, Solo Mission, Devious making progression type videos for Leagues 1 and 2. However, during the Twisted League and the Trailblazer League, I didn't really have any particular plan in order to start making videos, so I think it was going to be fairly rushed if I started doing so. However, when I kept making videos consistently in around May of 2021, and also when I started monetizing my channel here on YouTube, and when I was already for some odd reason, I was already making more money from YouTube than my 9-to-5 job. Now, again, like I always say, this is not to flex, this is just to give you some context as to why I did it. I was like, okay, so let me go ahead and try this YouTube content creation full time. But then at that point, Leagues 3 was already kind of in the talks, and I was like, whenever this comes, I would like to try this in order to just dip my toes into the content creation, into the progression type of videos more specifically, so I can just give it a go. People like the ones I mentioned were always an inspiration to me, and honestly, it was just going to be a dream come true, trying to follow their steps and do it my own way. So, as we all know, or as most of us know, Leagues 3 was announced for, I would say, November 2021, but then because of Group Ironman, it was delayed to January of 2022, and after quitting my job, I was like, oh well, what do I do? So I basically continued content creation, and it all began on January 19th when I decided to start Leagues 3. So that is basically the context of that video and what happened in order for me to get to this point in specific. So that is what happened prior to it, but what followed after, I don't think I was ready for it. Now, first of all, I have to tell you guys about my first few days when it comes to Leagues 3 progression videos and also in the league itself. Now, prior to the release of the league, I was just super excited, and I really couldn't wait to try this out. However, if you guys remember, I did a 24-hour stream here on YouTube for the release of Leagues 3, which was actually a lot of fun. I always wanted to do a 24-hour stream, and that was basically fulfilled because of Leagues 3. However, what followed after was the beginning of me doubting if I could potentially do this. So, I finished my 24-hour live stream, I take a well-deserved nap, I continue streaming, and I was going to be uploading 2 to 3 league progression videos every single week. However, when I sat down to edit the very first episode, that is when things started to go south very, very quickly. I opened Premiere, and I put my 24-hour file on my timeline, and for some odd reason, I couldn't go like more than, I would say, 10 seconds without the thing freezing. I really did not know what to do, and I couldn't see what I was editing. The audio was fine, but then it would take upwards of like a minute for the feed to refresh and like showing me what I was editing. And honestly, I started to get worried because it just hit me so fast. If this is going to be what's going to happen for every single upload, one of two things is going to happen. Either I focus on video making and I am going to throw the Dragon Cup out of the window, or I focus on live streams and actual progression and I basically toss the progression type videos to the bin and hopefully, focus on one of the two. Now, because this was my very first time doing this, I really did not know what to do, and I am someone who, if I set myself a goal, if I don't get it, I basically have the most depressed episode, if you want to call it that, and basically my day, my week, basically everything is ruined for me mentally. So from the very beginning, I said, okay, so I'm going to have this amount of videos for the league, and I'm also going to have the Dragon Cup. But because now it is a possibility that I'm not going to get either, or the worst case scenario, I was not going to get both of them, I started to get incredibly worried. To the point where I was just sitting there on my Adobe Premiere, I was looking at the screen, and I just wasn't doing anything. I go to my wife, I tell her what's going on. I basically sat in her arms, like telling her, okay, what's gonna happen? I don't know what I should focus on. I really don't know, if I should go for the Dragon Cup. I don't know if I should go for the videos. I really don't want to disappoint people and not give them enough content. And I think that went on for about 2 hours, which was, it sounds a little immature, but like I told you, having this mentality of I have to achieve the thing I set myself to, and from the very beginning there's a possibility that either one or both things are not going to happen, I just basically broke down and I started going like, okay, so I think I need to start thinking of another plan. But, thankfully my wife, kind of soothed me. Is that even the, past tense of soothe? I don't know. But yeah, it all made sense, and I guess I spent the rest of the day, not worrying about the game, and then focus on my editing. Because at that point, my mentality was, okay, I want to get every single minute of my progression in the league on stream, just so people don't miss what I've been doing, just in case everyone is also following it as a guide. This is going to sound kind of ego, and I really hope it isn't, because that's not how I am, but if there was anyone following my progression, I really didn't want people to stop following my progression in order for them to go okay, so I can potentially do this, do that. And that first day was over, and I was starting to accept the fact that I was not going to get the Dragon Cup. So at the very beginning, it was all pretty decent. I finished the video, I uploaded. The video did pretty decent. However, coming from a guide-oriented channel on Old School RuneScape, a progression type video didn't perform as well. And this is another thing I want to mention. Going into this, I fully knew that there were three options. Number one, I was going to either, become this super great League 3 progression channel that everyone was following, such as Bitter, Solo Mission, Mudkip. There was also a very good chance that things were going to stay either the same or stagnant during Leagues 3. And I also knew that there was a possibility of the whole thing not sticking whatsoever, and that people were just going to click off because obviously, that's not what people subscribe for on my channel, so, why should they stay? Of course, I'm not going to, expect someone to stay if they don't receive the content that they are supposed to be here for. So, I very well knew that all of these three were a possibility. However, I was more hopeful that the first two were going to happen. And, surprisingly enough, neither of them actually happened, and the worst case scenario is what was actually, put on my plate. So, let's go ahead and check out how I sort of adapted to it, and also how we had another little mental breakdown towards, the end of the journey. I want to preface this part of the video by giving you an extremely important disclaimer. By telling you guys what I'm about to say, I'm not complaining about views, subscribers, numbers, analytics. I'm not one to blame anything or anyone for a failure other than me. if I know that something's going wrong, I will always look at myself first instead of blaming people, the algorithm, like bad luck or anything. I will full on admit that I am the first person who I look at just in case there is something wrong. So by me telling you this, I really hope you guys don't think that I'm like ungrateful, for not getting views, subscribers, whatever. This is just being like as transparent as possible with this process, because I think this is a very important part of not only this content creation journey, but also, as a whole, as a community. So please don't think the fact that I'm talking about numbers, goes like, oh, Kaoz only cares about this. That's not the case, okay? So I upload, that disclaimer out of the way. I upload the very first episode, which it did fairly recent, it did very well. It did actually better than I was expecting. But then episode 2, episode 3, and episode 4 hit, and things just start going down, which is completely understandable. I was fully expecting that. But I was like, okay, if I keep doing this, of course it's going to be great for my own fulfillment, my own pleasure of showing people my progression in the league towards the Dragon Cup. But I am also someone who, if I'm not getting the same amount of growth or views or whatever, I think if I think there's something wrong, I think I need to correct it, right? So starting episode 5, I have progression on the background of my videos, but I'm still talking about leagues, right? So I upload 3 more videos, should you play Leagues 3, rewards, and finally I maxed my Leagues account in 3 weeks. After this, I continued doing this, but it all culminated in me uploading a video summarizing all of the drops that I had. I was really excited to show this video, but then because Leagues 3 hype was already dying, people probably on the channel didn't really want to check it out anymore, this video ended up being the worst ever performing video on my channel, I would say for years. Even videos I uploaded before my channel started getting traction were doing better than what I uploaded. And I was sort of hopeful that it was going to be, slightly better because, it's a couple of nice drops and people like to see, hype videos and whatever. Oh, surprise, that was not the case. I upload the video, and after about 4 or 5 hours, the video has about 400 to 500 views. And again, like I said, I want to preface this by saying that I'm not complaining, it's just that it sounded really odd, and it's like, okay, so what should I do? It actually got to a point where I was in a chat with Jonte Borg, who is another YouTuber, big shout out to him, and he basically, explained the whole, algorithm, the process, what could possibly be happening, talked to YouTube support, because from my point of view, it sounded impossible for a channel with 24,000 subscribers and having a video only get less than 500 views in 4 hours. It really sounded like there was something wrong, and I even talked to YouTube support about it. But then after a little bit, and after they told me, no, this is, basically the amount of exposure that your channel is getting, I go okay, so I think I'm just coping, and I think it's, the algorithm is not the problem, it's actually me. So I ended up deleting the channel, which is the second ever channel I have ever deleted on, on the history of me making videos, which, by the way, if you guys want to go ahead and rewatch it, I am going to have it for you in an unlisted link in the description below. And I deleted it, and that was the very first day from the very creation of my channel that I actually lost subscribers in a day. I also had a little mental breakdown on this, because not only was I thinking, okay, so if I want to ever do something else on my channel that's not guides, I don't want people to, turn away from the video, from the channel, because it's okay, so this is not what I want anymore, I'm just leaving. So the second mental breakdown, quote unquote, was basically me questioning my ability to create. Will I ever do something that's not a guide? Will I ever have the creative freedom to do this? And again, third time mentioning this, I'm not complaining about views, I'm just giving you the transparency of the creative process. That actually got me thinking, what should I do? Should I stick to guides? Do I ever, have the freedom to do something else? And of course you guys are gonna say, of course it's your channel, you should go ahead and do whatever you want. But from my perspective, if I am not successful at it, I go okay, so then what should I do? Now, again, this whole video wasn't about just me complaining, it's just, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you put like pretty much all your eggs in one basket and something doesn't end up working, there's always, I mean, hopefully, almost always, there's another way of doing so. Now, obviously, I didn't, 100% move into progression type videos and, oh, this is all you guys are gonna get. I know that there are situations in which if someone puts all their eggs in one basket, there's actually no turning back. And luckily for me, there was actually turning back, fix things and, get them back to normal. And here we are. And I'm really, really happy. I'm extremely happy, like I said, that I tried it. Will I ever do Leagues 4 videos? Probably, yeah. I mean, even if the channel doesn't do as great, but I will potentially approach it in a different situation. What will that situation be, or what will that thing be? I still do not know, but you bet your ass I will be trying it, because I am not one to give up until I try every single thing that has been at my disposal. So that's pretty much it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this little creative look into my brain, the channel. And if there's ever anything to learn from this, I have so much more respect for people who make videos about progression type videos like on Old School RuneScape or pretty much any game. Me doing this only gave me a different outlook of what these people I've always looked up to go through with these videos, and especially people like Ditterbitter, Mika, Solo Mission, Mudkip, who not only have to focus on getting the Dragon Cup for content, but also edited their own videos to do so. That only gives you a ton more respect for them, and that really, quote-unquote, opened my eyes to content creation in a different way that I never really thought possible. And I'm really thankful for everyone who jumped into this experience with me, and I really hope you guys enjoyed the Leagues 3 live streams. And also, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm really happy to be doing it, and also pretty happy that I have all of my absolute legendary channel members. You guys are absolute machines. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate you. And yeah, honestly, whether if you chat, you give a couple of comments, whatever support you give to this channel by just watching, it is incredibly, I mean, I don't want to say the word appreciative again, but you guys have no idea what this means. If you would like to support this monetarily, you can click the join button and check out what cool perks you can see or you can get from your monetary support. And yeah, you guys can let me know in the comments what you think about my whole experience, and I will see you guys next week, where I'm pretty sure I know what I want to do, but I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, so we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll see you then. Peace.